Hi and welcome to today's video. Today we are taking a look at Discworld MUD. If you are totally new to the subject of MUDs, think of it as text-based tabletop role-playing on a computer. This particular game is set in a humoristic fantasy world. With that said, let's get on with explaining the contents. So, what is a MUD? In this case, it has nothing to do with the stuff you might see on the ground. A MUD, or a multi-user dungeon, is a sort of precursor to today's MMO games. Today, we have graphically impressive online multiplayer games where we can meet others and adventure as our game avatars. In my opinion, these new games often lack depth, and I've yet to find one that can hold my attention for any longer period of time. A MUD, on the other hand, is in a way not limited by what we see, because it is entirely made up by text. In other words, it uses the most powerful GPU known to mankind, our own brain. Much like when you are reading a good book. But don't worry, there are a few graphical options available to the game I'm about to show you in this video. For now though, think of it as a text-based MMORPG, where you type what you want to do instead of clicking or moving like you may be used to in other games, but often with a surprisingly deep level of interaction. So what is Discworld? Discworld is a fantasy book series that is written by the now late Sir Terry Pratchett. It is about a world shaped like a disc. The disc is carried by 4 elephants that in turn are standing on a great turtle swimming through space. On Discworld, you will find many classic elements of fantasy, such as magic, supernatural beings, and barbarian heroes. As you may have already guessed, it's a humoristic fantasy setting with elements of satire. It was actually one of the very first book series I read, and most of the books are still good today for almost all ages. I highly recommend it. If you have read the books, you will recognize many of the characters and may have an easier time getting into the setting. But I don't think it's necessary to have read the books to enjoy the game. So how do we get started? You can get started in a few different ways depending on if you want to just try it out, or if you want to go all out at once. The easiest way to get started is to head over to the Discworld MUD homepage. Link will be in the description. On the left side of the screen, you will see a link that says Play Now. You can choose the browser client, that way you won't even have to download anything. The second approach is a little more advanced. It involves getting a dedicated client for the game to set it up. I recommend Mush Client with a set of plugins made by a player named Cow. It contains a graphical option such as a map, which helps a lot. I will add a link to his homepage in the description as well. For the purposes of this video, we will be using the browser client, because I think it will be easier for you to follow the steps in this video that way. Let's move on to creating a character. Creating a character is very easy and basically only consists of choosing a name and your character's gender. All characters are created equal as level 0 in the Guild of Adventurers. In this game there are no pure classes like you may see in other role-playing games, but all characters have access to a large skill tree. All characters can learn all skills, given they have sufficient experience points. There are however guilds in the game, and depending on your choice of guild, some commands may not be available to your character, which may limit the usefulness of some skills. Your guild choice will affect which skills that count as your primary skills, which are cheaper to learn, except for players that choose to stay as adventurers. Your primary skills also determine your guild level. The guilds so far are warriors, wizards, witches, priests, thieves, assassins, and fools. Most guilds also have sub-guilds, such as the Barbarians for warriors and the Order of Midnight for wizards. I won't cover more about this subject in this video, but believe me, there's a lot more to it. Let's learn a little how we navigate the MUD. Now that we have our character and we are moving around as a level 0 adventurer, whenever we type something, we receive a response that can be a lot of text at once, especially when we move. In fact, the first thing you will probably see when you log in is the room description. The room description contains basically 4 parts. It consists of the general description of the room, followed by brief temperature and weather if you're standing outside, then your visible exits, And finally, the obvious things that are in the room with you. It can probably be very confusing for a new player to see all this text, but you will learn what to read and what to skip in some time. When it comes to rooms and moving about, I recommend that you mostly pay attention to your exits and the other things that are in the room with you for now. Paying attention to the room description can be good in dangerous areas, which we will stay away from for now, and also when we are exploring or questing to find hidden things. To move to another room, we can basically type the exit name. For example, east moves us eastwards. We can also abbreviate it to E for east. Two commands that can be helpful is help and syntax. Help will show you a helpful explanation about many things, and syntax will explain how you are supposed to type to use a command. For example, if we want to knock on a door, we can type syntax knock, and the game will tell us how to do it. I should also mention a few words about skills and progression. No game is complete without some sort of progression. On Discworld, your character gets stronger by getting experience points, and then using those points to buy skills. The skill tree consists of 7 main branches: covert, crafts, faith, fighting, magic, people, and adventuring. You can view your current skill levels and bonuses by using the skills command. You can also view your status by using the score command. Most of the skills are self-explanatory, but it's worth mentioning that if you want more hit points, for example, that skill is under adventuring and is called health. Another skill worth mentioning is the points skill for each skill tree, which determine the amount of guild points available to your character. For now, think of guild points as a constantly regenerating pool of points that are required to perform many commands. As an example, if you want to do a more powerful attack in combat or cast a spell, these actions have a guild point cost. You can advance skills at your guild if you have one, or by learning from other players or teaching yourself. Learning from other players or from oneself is much more expensive, however. While you advance skill levels, what determines your success is your skill bonus. Skill bonuses are calculated with your skill levels and also from your base stats, such as strength and intelligence. So those are the very basics of Discworld MUD and how to get started. I also recommend the Discworld MUD Wikipedia, which I will link in the description. It contains a lot of good information. Thank you for listening to this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that like button, and please tell me your best Discworld moment in the comments.